The galaxy was wide, filled with thousands of powerful empires, great fleets, and ancient civilizations. Among these stars, there was one small blue planet that many ignored, Earth. To the Council of Worlds, Earth was nothing more than a minor world, a place with humans who were not important enough to be taken seriously. Humans were called young, weak, and foolish. The great powers laughed at them, saying Earth had no place in the grand future of the galaxy. But the galaxy did not know the truth. Earth was silent, yes. But silence can be dangerous. Silence can hide something waiting to awaken. The first sign came quietly. A small scout ship from the Krell Empire entered the solar system. It was a routine mission, nothing special. The captain reported seeing the blue planet and its moon. He joked in his last transmission, calling humans primitive apes. Then the signal ended. The ship was gone. No wreckage was found. No distress call. Nothing. The council said it was an accident. A navigation failure, maybe a hidden asteroid field. But whispers began to spread. Why had the signal ended so suddenly? Why was there not even a trace of metal left behind? The Krell Empire sent another ship. Then, another. Both vanished near Earth's orbit. This time, the council could not ignore it. They ordered investigations, but no one returned with answers. Some believed it was sabotage, maybe humans had secret allies. Others laughed, saying the ships were lost due to bad luck. But in the galaxy, luck did not erase whole fleets. Something was wrong. In hidden chambers of the council, leaders spoke in worried voices. They asked if Earth was hiding weapons. Some suggested an ancient defense system. But how could such a small planet hold power strong enough to erase starships? No one had answers, and humans gave no explanations. They lived quietly, showing no sign of fear or aggression. They did not argue with the council. They did not demand respect. They simply stayed silent. This silence made the galaxy uneasy. Empires were used to power, to dominance, to control. But they could not control what they did not understand. One by one, brave explorers tried to test the mystery. Merchant ships avoided the solar system. Even smugglers stayed away. The stories were too strange, too dangerous. A few captains who went near Earth spoke of strange signals, of systems failing without reason, of shadows moving in the void. No one believed them, but fear began to grow. Some asked, if Earth is truly weak, why does the planet remain untouched while ships vanish around it? Why does no empire claim it for themselves? The council, frustrated, called Earth to speak before them. The humans sent only one delegate. He was calm, too calm. When asked about the missing ships, he smiled and said, "Do not come too close to Earth." That is all. The council roared in anger. Who were humans to give such a warning? Who were they to act strong when they were so small? But behind the anger, there was fear. Empires began to hesitate. They wondered, what if the warning was not a bluff? What if something hidden on Earth was real? In the darkest corners of the galaxy, rumors grew. Some whispered that Earth was built on ancient ruins, older than the council itself. Others said the planet carried a force, something buried deep inside, sleeping until disturbed. No one could prove it. No one dared go near to find the truth. The galaxy tried to laugh it off, but the laughter was weak. Too many ships had gone missing. Too many secrets surrounded the silent planet. And the most terrifying part was not the missing ships. It was the humans themselves. They did not panic. They did not shout. They did not beg for mercy. Instead, they waited, as if they already knew what the galaxy would soon learn. Earth was silent, yes. But silence does not mean weakness. It means patience. It means something hidden. And patience can be more dangerous than any weapon. The galaxy had not yet seen Earth's true face. But it would, very soon. And when that happened, the stars would never be the same again. The galaxy could not stay calm after the disappearances. At first it was only the Krell Empire ships, But soon other empires tested their luck. The Zurak sent a cruiser close to Earth's orbit. It was powerful, armed with heavy cannons, designed to crush small colonies. The crew laughed at the idea of danger. They called humans weak and unworthy of fear. But as the cruiser entered the orbit of the blue planet, its signal began to flicker. The crew reported strange interference, systems shutting down without reason, sensors showing nothing but static. Then the signal went dark. The Zurak Empire waited for hours, then days. The cruiser never returned. No wreckage floated in space, no explosion was seen. The ship had simply vanished. The galaxy now had a problem. 3 empires, 3 different fleets, and all lost without a trace. Whispers grew louder. The council demanded answers. Was Earth hiding weapons? Was there a secret fleet around the planet? But no one had seen any weapon, no one had seen any fleet. Earth looked ordinary, peaceful even, but ships were being erased like dust in the wind. The council sent investigators. Small drones were released from a safe distance. The drones recorded nothing strange. Earth's skies were calm, its surface filled with oceans, forests, and cities of humans who lived normal lives. Yet as soon as the drones moved closer, their feeds cut off and they vanished too. No fire, no explosion, just silence. The galaxy grew nervous. Some empires laughed, trying to hide their fear, but laughter could not erase facts. More than 10 ships had already disappeared. Trade routes were redrawn. No merchant dared go near Earth. Some smugglers who tried to slip through the solar system were never seen again. Others who escaped spoke of shadows moving between stars, of strange whispers on their comms, of sudden coldness filling their ships as if space itself had turned hostile. The council gathered again. The chamber was filled with voices of anger, fear, and denial. Some shouted that Earth must be destroyed. Others argued it must be studied. A few, more cautious, suggested leaving Earth alone. But pride was dangerous in the galaxy. No empire liked to admit fear, especially not in front of rivals. Finally, a decision was made. A fleet of 30 warships would be sent. They would surround Earth, force humans to surrender, and uncover the truth. When the fleet departed, the galaxy watched with anticipation. Everyone expected victory. 30 warships against one small planet seemed unfair, too easy. But deep inside, there was doubt. Messages arrived as the fleet entered the solar system. At first, everything looked fine. The fleet reported clear skies, no resistance, no sign of hidden weapons. Then the transmissions became strange. Static filled the voices. Commanders shouted orders, but their words were cut into fragments. Systems failing, unknown interference, shields not working. The last message was the most terrifying. A single voice screamed, "It's not what we thought, Earth is," then silence. 30 warships, gone. Not a single survivor. Not even wreckage left behind. The galaxy froze in fear. This was no accident, no small defense system. Something was destroying entire fleets, and it was doing so without effort. Panic spread through the council. If Earth had such power, why were humans not using it to conquer? Why were they so calm, so quiet? That was the question that kept leaders awake at night. Empires had faced powerful enemies before, but enemies always showed their strength openly, in battle, in conquest. Earth showed nothing. It only defended silently, as if waiting. This made Earth even more terrifying. What kind of power could erase fleets in seconds and leave no sign behind? What kind of force made humans so confident that they gave no explanation, no threat, only silence? Around the galaxy, fear became legend. Children whispered stories of the blue planet that ate ships whole. Soldiers joked nervously about missions that would never return. Commanders avoided the solar system in their maps. The council tried to control the panic, but even their words sounded weak. Every empire asked the same question. Was Earth hiding an ancient weapon, or was Earth itself the weapon? The truth was still hidden, But one thing was clear. Earth was not weak. It was not harmless. It was something else, something no one understood. And until the mystery was solved, the galaxy could never feel safe again. The vanishing ships had changed everything. The balance of power trembled. Empires that once laughed at humans now whispered their name with caution. The silence of Earth was no longer seen as weakness. It was seen as a warning. And warnings, when ignored, always come with a price. The council chamber was filled with anger and fear. 30 warships gone, erased as if they had never existed, and the only word left from the fleet was a broken message. It's not what we thought, Earth is. The sentence haunted every leader, every commander, every soldier. What was Earth? What secret did humans hide? The council demanded answers, but no one had them. Some leaders shouted that Earth must be crushed at once, that more fleets must be sent. Others spoke more carefully, warning that rushing in blindly had already cost too much. But pride burned hotter than fear. Empires who had lost their ships demanded revenge. They wanted to show strength, to prove that no small world could humiliate the great powers of the galaxy. After days of argument, the council decided on one final warning. Earth would be contacted. The humans would be ordered to explain their hidden defenses or face destruction by the united fleet of the council. A massive armada was assembled, larger than anything sent before. Hundreds of warships gathered, representing more than a dozen empires. They were armed with plasma cannons, ion disruptors, and weapons designed to tear through planetary shields. The galaxy watched in silence as the fleet moved toward the solar system. No one wanted to admit fear, but every empire wondered if this was the end of Earth or the beginning of something far worse. When the fleet arrived near Earth, transmissions were sent to the humans. The council demanded surrender. They demanded answers. The words carried the arrogance of empires that had ruled the stars for thousands of years. But Earth's reply was not what they expected. A single message was broadcast, calm and steady, with no sign of panic. The human delegate spoke only one line: "Do not come closer. This is your final warning." The council erupted with rage. Who were humans to threaten the galaxy's greatest powers? Who were they to speak so boldly after being called weak for so long? The commanders ordered the fleet forward. Hundreds of ships moved closer to Earth, forming a ring around the planet. Weapons were charged, shields raised, targeting systems locked. The fleet was ready to strike at a single command. But then something strange happened. Systems began to fail. Sensors showed empty space where Earth should have been. Ships reported strange shadows moving across their hulls, shadows that could not be explained. Communication lines filled with static. Some ships fired by mistake, blasting into the void with no target. Panic spread among the crews as more systems shut down one by one. Then the voices of fear began. "Engines not responding," shouted one. "Weapons offline," cried another. A commander yelled that the stars themselves seemed to flicker and twist around them. The fleet tried to retreat, but it was too late. One by one, ships fell silent. Their signals blinked out as if swallowed by an invisible hand. The last transmission that reached the council was filled with screams, static, and a chilling voice. "We should not have come. Earth is..." And then nothing. The armada was gone. Hundreds of ships, thousands of soldiers, the pride of the council, all erased without leaving a trace. The galaxy trembled. This was not a defense system. This was not human technology. This was something greater, something the galaxy had never faced before. The council sat in silence, unable to hide their fear any longer. Some leaders whispered that Earth was cursed. Others believed the humans had awakened an ancient force buried deep within their world. But none could deny the truth. Earth had just destroyed the largest fleet the council had ever sent. And they had done it without firing a single visible weapon. The galaxy's balance of power had shifted. No empire dared send another ship. Trade routes shifted even further away. Explorers and smugglers avoided the solar system completely. And yet, Earth remained quiet. Humans did not celebrate, did not boast, did not threaten. They simply watched and waited. That silence was more terrifying than any victory speech, because it meant humans were confident. They knew something the galaxy did not. They were hiding a truth too powerful to reveal. The council called another meeting, this time filled with fear instead of anger. They had warned Earth. They had threatened Earth. They had attacked Earth. And Earth had answered not with words but with something invisible, unstoppable, and final. Now the galaxy faced a terrifying question. If Earth could erase fleets without effort, what would happen if humans decided to strike first? What would happen if the hidden power of Earth was not only defensive but offensive? The stars felt smaller, the galaxy felt weaker, and for the first time in centuries, the empires who ruled the cosmos were afraid of a single world. Earth had not asked for war, but war had come to its doorstep, and the galaxy had learned the price of ignoring its warning. The galaxy could not sleep after the loss of the Great Fleet. Hundreds of warships, thousands of soldiers, entire armadas had been erased near Earth, and no one knew how. Empires whispered in fear, trying to explain the impossible. Some said it was advanced human technology hidden underground. Others claimed the humans had allied with a secret race from the dark edges of the cosmos. But the most frightening rumors were different. They said Earth itself was alive. The stories spread like wildfire across the stars. Captains swore they had seen the oceans move unnaturally, as if the planet's waters were watching them. Some spoke of mountains that shifted in ways no natural rock should. There were even whispers of strange energy pulses recorded deep within Earth's core, pulses older than any known civilization. Scientists dismissed these as madness, but fear does not need proof to spread. The galaxy began to believe that Earth was more than a world. It was a prison, or maybe a cage, holding something ancient inside. And humans, the strange quiet race, were the keepers of that cage. What frightened the council most was the behavior of the humans themselves. After destroying fleets without explanation, they remained calm, silent, and patient. They sent no more messages, offered no threats, demanded no tribute. Instead, they simply said nothing. That silence was unbearable for the galaxy. Empires that had survived wars and invasions suddenly felt powerless before a world that did not even try to show its strength. The Zurak Empire held a secret meeting with the Krell. Together they planned to test Earth again, but this time with probes designed to dig deep into the planet's surface. The probes were launched from a safe distance and sent toward Earth at high speed. For a moment, it seemed to work. The probes entered the atmosphere, dodging defenses that no one could see. Data streamed back to the empires, maps of oceans, readings of magnetic fields, recordings of strange underground signals. Then the data stopped. The probes were gone. The last image transmitted was terrifying, an enormous shadow moving beneath the surface of the Earth, something so large that it made entire continents look small. The image lasted only seconds, but it spread across the galaxy in hours. No one could explain it. Was it a machine? A creature? A god sleeping inside the planet? The council tried to suppress the information, but it was too late. Everyone had seen the shadow, and everyone knew one thing: Earth was not alone. Something was awakening beneath its surface. Across the galaxy, fear turned into chaos. Some empires demanded that Earth be destroyed before the hidden force could rise. Others argued that such an attempt would only provoke it further. A few desperate voices even suggested leaving the galaxy entirely, fleeing to the unknown darkness beyond known space. But no one could agree, and while the council argued, Earth remained silent. Humans went on with their lives as if nothing had changed. But their silence felt different now. It was not just patience. It was certainty. They acted like a people who already knew the ending of the story. The awakening grew louder. Strange signals pulsed out of Earth, reaching deep into the galaxy. Ships passing nearby reported hearing voices in their comm systems, voices that spoke in languages older than stars. Machines malfunctioned when pointed toward Earth. Even artificial intelligence systems began to whisper strange codes, as if repeating commands from something hidden within the planet. Scientists who studied these signals claimed they were not random. They were structured, organized, and purposeful. Something under Earth was trying to speak. And each time it spoke, the galaxy shook with fear. The council met once again, but this time there was no shouting, no arrogance. There was only dread. For the first time in history, the most powerful empires admitted they did not understand what they faced. They could not fight what they could not see. They could not win against what they could not comprehend. And if Earth's awakening was real, then the galaxy was standing at the edge of a disaster far greater than any war. In the shadows of the chamber, one elder whispered the thought that many feared. What if humans are not guarding the secret? What if humans are the secret? The words spread through the leaders like fire. The possibility was too terrifying to ignore. Perhaps Earth's hidden power was not a weapon, not a monster, not even the planet itself. Perhaps it was humanity. A race that had always seemed small, weak, and young might be something else entirely, something that had only begun to awaken. And if that was true, then the galaxy was already too late to stop it. The awakening had begun, and nothing could silence it now. The galaxy waited for answers, but none came. Earth remained silent while fear spread through the stars like a storm. Fleets had vanished, probes had shown shadows moving beneath continents, and strange signals had pulsed across space. Yet humans gave no explanation. Finally, the council demanded a direct meeting. They wanted Earth to speak, to explain, to reveal its hidden weapon. To their surprise, the humans agreed. A single delegate from Earth was sent to stand before the council chamber. He looked ordinary, no different from any man one might see on the streets of a human city. But when he spoke, his calm voice carried more weight than fleets of warships. "You want to know what is happening," he said. "You want to understand what erased your fleets and what you think is awakening. The truth is simple. You were warned. Do not come closer to Earth." The council erupted in anger. This was no answer, no explanation. But the human did not flinch. His eyes were steady, his voice calm, his presence strange. One leader shouted that Earth must reveal its technology. Another demanded to know what lived beneath the surface. The human only replied, "It is not technology. It is not what you think. It is Earth itself." Those words sent a chill through the chamber. The council pressed for more, desperate to understand. And finally, the human leaned forward and spoke again. "You call us young. You call us weak. But you do not know what we are. Humanity was never alone. We were born with Earth, shaped by Earth, protected by Earth. The power you fear is not separate from us. It is part of us. The fleets you lost were not destroyed by machines or weapons. They were destroyed because Earth chose to protect us. And when Earth chooses, nothing in the galaxy can resist." Silence filled the chamber. No one wanted to believe such a thing, yet the truth was inescapable. What the fleets had faced was not human technology. It was the will of the planet itself. The shadows, the signals, the vanishing ships, they were signs of Earth's awakening. The galaxy had always believed humans were fragile because they measured them by ships, weapons, and colonies. But humans had never truly stood alone. They were connected to their world in ways no other species was. Earth was alive, and humanity was its voice. Some leaders laughed nervously, calling it impossible. But the human delegate only smiled. "You have already seen the proof," he said. "You have lost fleets. You have seen shadows larger than continents. You have heard the signals. And still you deny. Denial will not save you. You should fear less what Earth is, and more what Earth will become if provoked further." His words carried a quiet threat, not shouted, not forced, but calm and certain. That certainty was more terrifying than any scream. For the first time, the council understood why humans had not panicked, why they had not begged for mercy. They knew something the galaxy did not. They knew they were not just a small race on a small world. They were guardians of a living force that even the greatest empires could not match. And now the galaxy faced a choice. Some empires whispered about war, desperate to crush Earth before its power grew stronger. Others trembled and argued that fighting Earth was impossible, that the only path was to leave it alone. A few began to think the unthinkable, that perhaps it was wiser to bow before Earth, to ally with humanity before the awakening reached its full strength. But none could decide, and the human delegate gave them no more answers. Before leaving the chamber, he looked back at the council and spoke one last time. We never wanted war. But if you force us, you will not fight humans. You will fight Earth. And you will not survive. With that, he turned and walked away, leaving the galaxy in silence. The council sat frozen, unable to speak, unable to move, as the weight of his words settled on them. For the first time in their history, the rulers of the stars felt powerless. They had asked for the human secret, and they had received it. But it was not a secret that brought comfort. It was a secret that brought fear. And that fear would only grow, because deep beneath the blue planet, the awakening continued. The heartbeat of Earth was growing louder, and the galaxy knew it was only a matter of time before the silence was broken forever. The galaxy was divided after the human delegate revealed the truth. Some empires believed, others denied, but all of them were afraid. The idea that Earth itself was alive, that it could think, protect, and destroy at will, was too much for proud rulers to accept. Yet fear does strange things to powerful minds. Where some saw danger, others saw opportunity. One empire, the Dravic Dominion, was known for its arrogance and hunger for conquest. They laughed at the council's hesitation, calling the other empires cowards. To them, humans were clever liars, nothing more, and Earth was just another planet with some strange natural defenses. The Dravic believed that if they struck fast and hard, they could take Earth for themselves and uncover its secret power. They gathered their war fleet, not small like the fleets before, but vast and brutal. Over 150 warships, armed with planet-killer weapons, moved silently toward the solar system. The galaxy watched in silence, waiting, afraid to interfere but desperate to see what would happen. As the fleet entered Earth's space, tension filled every corner of the stars. At first, nothing happened. The Dravic ships surrounded the planet, their weapons glowing with destructive energy. They broadcast a message across the system, mocking humanity. Your lies end today. We will take your world. We will take your secret. Their commanders laughed as they prepared to fire. But then it began. Shadows spread across the void, vast shapes that blocked out the stars themselves. At first, the Dravic thought they were tricks, illusions caused by interference. But soon the shadows moved. They wrapped around ships, covering them in darkness, and the vessels simply stopped working. Engines failed, weapons shut down, shields vanished as if they had never existed. The Dravic panicked, shouting orders, firing randomly into the blackness, but nothing hit. Their weapons passed through the shadows as if through smoke, yet the shadows swallowed ship after ship. In moments, the mighty war fleet of the Dravic was collapsing. Some ships tried to flee, but their jump drives refused to activate. They were trapped. Then the voice came. It was not human. It was not mechanical. It was deep, ancient, and powerful, echoing across every channel at once. The words were not in any known language, but every mind understood them. This is our world. This is our bond. Those who invade will not return. The message ended, and in a single instant, the entire Dravic fleet vanished. No explosions, no wreckage, no survivors. 150 warships erased as if they had never existed. The galaxy trembled in terror. For centuries, the Dravic Dominion had been one of the strongest powers, feared by many, respected by all. And now they were gone, destroyed in a heartbeat by a planet that did not even move. There was no longer any doubt. Earth's hidden power was real. The galaxy had witnessed it directly, and it was far beyond anything they had imagined. The council tried to calm the panic, but fear was everywhere. Merchants refused to travel near Earth's sector. Soldiers muttered about curses. Even rulers who had never shown fear admitted in private that Earth could not be touched. And yet, humanity remained calm. They made no threats, launched no invasions, sent no armies. They simply watched as the galaxy trembled. That silence became the most terrifying thing of all. If humans had wanted to conquer, they could have struck at that moment, when fear was highest and resistance weakest. But they did nothing. And in that nothing, the galaxy realized the truth. Humans were not interested in conquest. They were not interested in power. They had only one goal: protection. Protection of their home, protection of their secret, protection of Earth itself. And that made them far more dangerous than any empire, because enemies who fight for conquest grow tired, but guardians who fight for survival never stop. The test of power had ended with the Dravok's destruction. Now the galaxy knew beyond doubt that Earth was not weak, not helpless, not harmless. It was a sleeping giant, and when pushed, it awakened with a strength that could erase entire empires in seconds. From that day forward, no one dared to test it again. But deep inside, every empire asked the same question in fear. If Earth could destroy without effort, what would happen if one day humanity decided not just to defend, but to strike? The destruction of the Dravok Dominion's fleet spread across the galaxy like fire. In one moment one of the most feared empires had been erased, its proud warships swallowed by Earth's hidden power, leaving nothing but silence behind. No one could deny the truth anymore. Earth was not weak. Earth was not defenseless. Earth was something beyond understanding, and humanity stood at its center, calm and unshaken while the rest of the galaxy trembled. Across the stars, rulers argued in panic. Some demanded that Earth be destroyed at all costs, before its secret power grew even stronger. Others shouted that such an attempt would be suicide, that the galaxy had already seen what happened when fleets moved against the blue planet. Merchants avoided the solar system entirely, and whispers of Earth filled every space station, every colony, every starport. Children were told bedtime stories of the hungry planet that swallowed ships whole, and soldiers joked nervously about being sent to Earth's orbit, though their laughter was filled with fear. In the council chamber, the mood was darker than ever. The great empires that once ruled with arrogance now sat in uneasy silence, staring at one another with suspicion. If Earth could not be conquered, should it be appeased? Should it be allied with? Should they bow before a race they had once mocked as weak? Pride clashed with survival. Old enemies who had fought each other for centuries suddenly spoke of unity, but not against each other, against Earth. Yet none dared to strike, for they had already seen the cost. Some whispered that it would be wiser to leave Earth completely alone, to redraw maps and pretend the solar system did not exist. But others argued that Earth's awakening would not stop at defense. They feared that one day humanity might choose to use its hidden power beyond their own world. And if that day came, the galaxy would fall. What made the fear worse was humanity's silence. After the Dravok fleet was destroyed, no message came from Earth, no warning, no declaration, nothing. Humans simply lived as if nothing had happened, as if erasing one of the galaxy's strongest powers was of no concern. That silence was more terrifying than any weapon, because it meant confidence. It meant Earth knew no one could touch them. And in that confidence the galaxy saw a shadow of their future. Either they would bow to Earth, or they would be erased like the fleets before them. Tension grew heavier with each passing day. Alliances were formed in secret, with empires meeting in hidden chambers to discuss what to do. Some wanted to build new weapons, stronger than anything before, weapons that could perhaps harm Earth. Others whispered of abandoning their worlds and searching for safety in uncharted space, far away from the blue planet's reach. But no plan was certain, because no one understood what they were facing. How do you fight a world itself? How do you prepare against a power that destroys fleets without leaving wreckage, a power that speaks in ancient voices across the stars? Fear began to break empires from within. Soldiers deserted, unwilling to face Earth. Scientists refused to work on weapons, terrified of awakening the planet further. Whole colonies whispered about rebellion, saying their leaders would lead them to destruction by provoking humans again. The galaxy was trembling not only in fear of Earth but in fear of itself. The balance of power was breaking apart. And all the while, Earth remained silent, watching. In secret, some council members admitted the thought that none dared to say aloud in public. What if humanity was not only a guardian of Earth, but the very extension of Earth's will? What if humans themselves were the weapon, born from a world that was alive, a world that had chosen to shape them as its defenders? If that was true, then humanity was not just another species among the stars. They were something greater, something the galaxy was not ready to face. And so the galaxy trembled, torn between pride and survival, fear and arrogance. Some prepared for war, others prayed for peace, but no one could sleep without hearing the echo of that ancient voice that had spoken during the Dravik's end. This is our world. This is our bond. Those who invade will not return. Those words lingered across the stars like a curse, a warning, and a promise. And deep beneath the surface of the blue planet, the awakening grew stronger, the hidden power rising like a tide, waiting for the moment when silence would no longer be enough. The galaxy had reached its breaking point. Empires that once ruled with iron strength now whispered in fear behind closed doors. Fleets had been erased, probes had revealed shadows under continents, and an ancient voice had spoken across the stars. No one denied the truth anymore. Earth was not weak, Earth was not defenseless, and Earth was not just another planet. It was something more, something that no empire could control or understand. But the greatest fear was not Earth's power itself. It was humanity's silence. Humans had not invaded, had not demanded tribute, had not sought revenge. They simply lived, watched and waited, as if they knew the galaxy would destroy itself in fear without lifting a finger. The council could not stand it any longer. The leaders demanded one final meeting with the humans, hoping for answers, for a treaty, for anything that would calm the galaxy's trembling. And so, once again, a single human delegate stood before them. He was ordinary in appearance, calm in voice, steady in eyes, but the chamber was silent as he spoke. "You have tested us," he said. "You sent scouts, fleets, and armadas. You tried to force us. You tried to break us. And each time, you were warned. Each time, you were given a chance to stop. But you would not listen. Now you know the truth. Earth is not what you think it is. Earth is not only a planet. It is alive. It is aware. It is our shield and our bond. We are its children, and it is our guardian. When you come against us, you do not face humans alone. You face Earth." His words echoed through the chamber like thunder. The leaders stared in silence, their arrogance broken, their pride crushed. But the human was not finished. He stepped closer and his voice grew sharper. "Understand this. We do not want war. We never wanted war. But if you bring war to us again, it will not be a battle. It will be an ending. You will not fight soldiers. You will not fight ships. You will fight Earth itself. And Earth does not lose." The council chamber shook with his words. Some leaders tried to argue, tried to shout about balance, about peace, about fear, but their voices were weak. Deep down, they all knew the truth. They had already seen what Earth could do. Fleets erased. Empires crushed. Shadows moving beneath oceans and mountains. The ancient voice that had spoken to the Dravik before their end. There was no denying it anymore. Humanity was untouchable because humanity was not standing alone. They were standing with their world, and their world was alive in ways no one could understand. The human delegate turned to leave, but before he stepped away, he gave one last message, one that would echo across the stars forever. "We do not seek conquest. We do not seek your thrones, your empires, or your crowns. Keep your stars. Keep your worlds. But know this, if you ever step on Earth again, if you ever bring war to our home, you will not return. That is our final word." With that he walked away, and the chamber sat in silence. No one moved. No one spoke. The galaxy had just been given its answer, and it was more terrifying than any weapon, any fleet, any empire. From that day on, Earth was no longer called weak. It was no longer mocked or dismissed. It was feared, respected, and avoided. Trade routes bent around the solar system like rivers around a mountain. Smugglers and pirates swore never to touch the blue planet. Even the proudest empires erased Earth from their conquest maps. And yet, in their fear, they could not stop thinking about it. Because in the end, the mystery was not solved. No one truly knew what moved beneath Earth's surface, what power slept inside its core, what voice had spoken in ancient tones across the galaxy. And the most terrifying thought of all was simple. If Earth had such power only in defense, what would happen if humanity ever chose to use it for more than survival? That question haunted the galaxy, but no answer ever came. Earth returned to silence, and silence became its greatest weapon. The stars kept shining, the empires kept ruling, but in every council, in every war room, in every whispered conversation across the galaxy, one truth was always remembered. Earth had spoken its final word, and the galaxy would never dare to test it again.